public schools reopen this week, the Eastern Cape Education Department is scrambling to get 166 million rand to refurbish schools damaged by storms since December 2021. At the same time, at least 831 pupils in the Eastern Cape still need to find a spot in school. The Eastern Cape's two metros, Buffalo City and Nelson Mandela Bay, are most affected. Well, let me take you to eNCA senior journalist Viwe Mtila, who is live for us from the Eastern Cape in East London. I believe you are, Viwe Mtila. So an overview by the Department of Education there, MSc Gade, firstly focusing on the issue of the damage that has been caused by the storms and flooding of the last few weeks. We got a sense yesterday when we spoke to the departmental spokesperson, but I imagine that MSc Gade has been fleshing out in a bit more detail what the extent of the damage is. What has he been telling you?
Certainly that briefing wrapping up just about an hour ago, where we are told that it's all systems go when it comes to the readiness of going back to school. But of course, that biggest headache of back to school are the damages caused by those storms. And in fact, it's an ever-changing number, because just yesterday we were told that 87 schools have been damaged by the storms, and today we're getting a number that's increased because it's the continuous floodings that we're seeing in the province. Now the number standing at around 96 of those schools. We're told that they have a budget of about 57 schools to repair them, to ensure that schooling takes place there, but there's still a huge deficit, and you know the budgetary constraint that the province is met with. And in fact, the South African Weather Service tells us today they're expecting more floods, which could increase that number of schools from that 97. Of course, as you know, that there's a lot of damage that's been caused here by the province. In fact, it's an issue that I touched with the MEC of Education in the province, Fundile Gade. Let's just take a listen to that.
We have taken a decision to proceed, albeit that there are current storms that are facing the province in general, not just schools. We have made sure that we make available resources and also accommodations for learners to proceed with education, albeit that some of the schools have been damaged. But what we have taken a view on is that not all schools have been damaged to the latter, such that they can't be operational. Some have just been damaged in terms of the admin blocks, some few classes, except for the 3 schools that will have to be started from afresh.
Viwe, other than the issue of damage to schooling infrastructure, there's the damage to, the education of pupils that comes with failure to provide them with such materials as stationery and textbooks, which again the Eastern Cape Department is being accused of. What has MEC Gade been saying about that particular aspect of things?
Well, he says even in that aspect, all is well. Even following a media communique from the Department of Education just on the 12th of January, suggesting that a lot of the schools need to reuse the textbooks that they've been using in prior years. In fact, that prompted the Association of School Governing Bodies in the Eastern Cape to lay a complaint with the South African Human Rights Commission just around the inadequate textbook and stationery for the province. But in addressing this, MEC Fundile Gade suggests that this is a norm. In fact, they had a budget of about 1.1 billion rand back in 2016 for the next 5 years, saying that those textbooks have a lifespan of 5 years, and then thereafter they'll need new textbook. Hence, they now garnering more money just to be adequately prepared for the next 5 years. But they say this year they can still use the textbooks that they've been using previously. Hence, they have a 98% success rate in regaining those textbooks. So he says that there's a deficit of about 55,000 textbooks that they need to still acquire as a department from the 1.6 million learners that the province has. In fact, another conversation that we caught up with the MEC of Education here in the Eastern Cape. Let's take a listen to that.
Department of Education bought textbooks at a rate of 1 billion rands in 2016. And our understanding is that a textbook has got a lifespan of 5 years. We are busy now trying to purchase textbooks for the next round of 5 years. So from where we are seated, we have got a retrieval rate of 98% of the textbooks that have been bought in 2016. So the issue of textbooks not being there is a funded lie. What we needed to do is to top up, precisely because of some of the learners that might not been there at that time, and the increase of the learners from grade to grade. So it will never be enough for any educator, for any principal, for any institution of learning to say the learner support material is enough now, because it changes from year to year, it changes from grade to grade, it changes from subject to subjects, as the Department of Education is redesigning, by the way, the curriculum of the province as well. So there is a lot at stake in terms of changing the outlook of the curriculum design of the province, and as well the entire schooling system in the province.
All right, viwe, let's leave it there for now. That's eNCA's senior journalist, viwe Mtila, live for us from East London in the Eastern Cape, updating us about the situation ahead of the reopening of schools, which is set for tomorrow. All of those challenges that plague that province ahead of the reopening of schools. Hopefully, they'll be addressed soon enough. In fact, in time for schooling to actually start properly. Let's see what happens.